because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncers' guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Colin McGuigan for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to be joined by Tom Hardy's ugly cousin, Frank Smith. Frank, first of all, let's talk about what happened in the ring tonight. Prograis underwhelming for you?
Yeah. Look, Zarilla didn't make the fight easy as well. You know, he ran around a lot. It was one of those fights. It wasn't entertaining. That's the reality, and unfortunate. But we move on from here, and you know, on to the next one we go.
Is there a positive to take from that? In that some fighters might say, "I want Regis Prograis next," the likes of Devin Haney, maybe Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure fighters will. Look, that's what always happens when sometimes you see fighters in disappointing performances. And look, it wasn't all on Regis Prograis. You know, Zarilla made the fight what it was. But yes, sometimes other fighters will be watching that, saying, "Right, that's my opportunity to go in there and win the belt." You know, I think out of those names you mentioned, Devin Haney is the one probably who, you know, will most likely look at it and go, okay, that's my opportunity to go up and win a belt at 140. But I think, you know, in the best fights, you'll see the best of Regis Prograis as well.
We've seen Bill Haney there tonight. Has there been conversations with Bill?
Yeah, we caught up with Bill. I think he's coming to New York as well next week for our Edgar Berlanga show. So, you know, things will continue. You know, Eddie speaks to Devin often. I catch up with Devin. We've known him for a long time. You know, obviously we worked with him for quite a while. So hopefully, you know, there's opportunities to get something done. But look, everyone's going to be looking to sign Devin Haney. He's done so much for the sport in a short space of time, and he's a big star. So, you know, everyone's going to be looking to do more business with him. But let's see.
Ramla Ali in a really tough defeat tonight against Julissa Guzman, who came for the win, done the opposite of what Zarilla done tonight and got the win. Where does Ramla Ali go from here? That's a heavy knockout.
Yeah, look, it was, but she showed so much heart in there. You know, to get up, you know, she obviously went down early in the fight. Then to get up from that second knockdown, you know, I know she showed so much heart throughout the fight. And, you know, it doesn't mean it's the end in any way. You know, like she went in there, she had a real fight. You know, it was an entertaining fight as well. And people want to see real fights, and people want to see people taking real fights. Ramla did that tonight, and there'll be so many more fights for her in the future. You know, it's just a blip in the story. We've seen it with other fighters. A loss doesn't define you if you're taking proper fights. That's the truth in the sport.
Julissa Guzman, potential Ellie Scotty bout next?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, she was very marked up as well. Like, when you look at her, it wasn't an easy fight for her either. But she had a lot of power, and, you know, great performance from her. But yeah, possibly.
We've seen a series of tweets tonight from Oscar De La Hoya to your right-hand man, Edward O'Hearn. Tell me what you make of that, first of all, from Oscar. Why has he got this beef with Eddie?
I don't know. To be honest, Oscar is finished, isn't he? Let's be honest. What's he got left? Like, every one of his big fighters leaves him. You know, it doesn't seem to be having a good week so far this week. You know, maybe he should have stayed as a boxer and not a promoter, because he's not very good at that side of it, is he?
Do you think that this is a reaction to maybe him hearing that you've been speaking to Ryan Garcia? Have you been speaking to Ryan Garcia?
No, we haven't been speaking to Ryan Garcia. You know, we don't get involved in the mess that he's in, you know, in the situation. Everyone would want to sign Ryan Garcia if he was a free agent. There's no doubt, is there? Every promoter on earth would have an interest in him. You know, I think, look, he can't be having a good time, because it can't be easy running a business where everyone who's any good leaves you. And there's a reason for that, obviously. You know, like, well, you don't see us having legal cases with our biggest stars week in, week out, do you? Oscar De La Hoya seems to have problems every couple of days. And look, the other thing that's tough, and I don't understand, is, you know, we're both on the same platform, right? We're both on DAZN. We never say anything negative about Golden Boy fights or shows. We never would. you know. But not going to sit back and just let him talk shit because, like I say, you know, he was a brilliant fighter, but, you know, the promotional game hasn't really suited him long term.
Eddie said to me a couple of days ago that he expects Ryan Garcia will sign with PBC off the back of this. So why has Oscar De La Hoya taken aim at yourselves at Matchroom and Eddie as opposed to anyone at PBC? It doesn't really make sense maybe to the viewers that are watching this. So is there an underlying story here somewhere?
I think he's jealous of Eddie. Like, not in terms of... Look, Oscar De La Hoya has done so much in the sport, but he's jealous of what Eddie does now. Like, I'll get stick for saying it, but there is no one better than Eddie that promote... Like, he's the best promoter in the world. You can't beat him, right? That is what he does. There is no one better than him. And Oscar is probably jealous that he is not doing what we're doing as a business. But don't get me wrong, he did so much in the sport, so I'm not taking anything away from him there. But if you're saying current day, what's the problem? It's jealousy of from a promotional aspect. I'm not saying he's jealous of Eddie Hearn as a person, you know, but right now as promoters, like, you can't compare the two. So that's probably, in my mind, that's what it comes down to. And like I say, I get a lot of stick for saying Eddie is the best promoter, but he is. No one comes close.
We've seen another tweet tonight from Badu Jack about this Canelo bout. It obviously won't go ahead. Will you not be working with Canelo for his next fight then? Is that the way it looks at the moment?
You know, I think Canelo's obviously got a number of options. We would love to work with Canelo Alvarez. We've had a great relationship with him for many years now, and I think we'll continue to have a great relationship with him. He's going to take the best option for him in his career and the position he's in. But, you know, 100% completely understand that. And, you know, we've been lucky enough to work with him on 6 or 7 of his last 7 or 8 fights, something like that. And it's been brilliant working with him, and I'm sure there'll be opportunity in the future. The next fight doesn't necessarily mean it will be with us. Maybe not. But, you know, I'm sure there will be a time we work together again. So let's see. But nothing's set in stone, obviously, as far as I can tell. You know, a lot of people were talking about the Badu Jack fight. I saw the issues there were around weight. You know, there's obviously the Charlo fight as well. I think Benavidez is unlikely, but the Charlo fight's a very likely fight that a lot of people are talking about. But as far as I know, nothing's done. And, you know, it would be great to work with him again in the future. We've had a great run, and I'm sure we will at some point.
Last one from me. You're probably the best man to ask about this. Eddie said earlier on that Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. is virtually agreed, all but the location, so either in the UK or the Middle East. Where do you think it's going to land?
Let's see. I've worked hard on this fight for a long time. Actually, it started about a year ago now, discussing this fight, and it's put a lot of effort into it. So I'm hopeful we can get it over the line. Abu Dhabi is obviously something being discussed. UK, you know, if we can make that happen, would be huge as well. So let's see. The fight's not done yet, but I'm confident we can get it done. It's the biggest fight out there for both of them. It's a massive fight for British boxing, and everyone wants to see it. So, you know, fingers crossed we can get it over the line.
When you say Abu Dhabi or the UK, Eddie did say that, but what date will it likely be?
Late September, if we can make it happen. Late September.
And can you give us a bit of an idea if it does land in the UK, where in the UK? Because it ultimately it could be a stadium fight.
100% it's a stadium fight. Honestly, I think outside of Joshua against Fury, it's the biggest fight in British boxing.
So would that likely mean that you would be looking, if it is in the UK, for Wembley Stadium?
Maybe. I love Tottenham as well. You know, we've done some great shows at Tottenham. It's a brilliant stadium. Well, you know, and it's a tremendous venue. But let's see. Lots of dependent a little bit obviously on football fixtures and everything else going on. The pitches, you know, Tottenham's you're lucky with because they can do events all year round. The way their stadium's set up. But yeah, let's see. Hopeful we can get something done with it because I've spent about a year of my life focusing on it. So hopefully it's not wasted.
Last one on this subject from me. If it does happen in the UK, will that mean that the UCAD report will have to come back pretty soon over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, look, the UCAD situation would, is ongoing and would need to be handled, obviously, for him to be able to fight in the UK. Obviously, the fact we're looking and thinking about the UK means that there's potential that could be settled. So let's see. But it's all going on in the background, and yes, time frames wise, if we're going to late September, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, that's where it all needs to play out to.
Well, Frank, thank you very much for your time. See you in New York. Appreciate it.
Cheers, mate.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
Must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,